Okay, today we're going to continue with our water conservation lesson. And last week we did a little bit of research. We talked about the amount of water on Earth. We talked about that the Earth was covered in water, and 97% of the Earth is covered with salt water, and only 3% of it is fresh water. And we also learned of that 3%, if we take that 3%, 76% of that is frozen in ice, and 23% is in the ground, and only 0.34% is found on the surface. All right, and we talked about that the only two types of water that can be used by humans were groundwater and surface water, and they're very, very small percentages. Remember, they were just drops, very small amounts of water that were available for humans to use. All right, so now today we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at some issues surrounding water in the United States, and we're going to do that by interpreting some maps. Okay, and here's our question for the day. If you haven't already done so, I want you to copy this into your notebook. So I want you to write down question for day number 2, and then I want you to write this question in your notebook. Who has trouble accessing fresh water in the United States, and why? Remember, here in St. Louis, we're really, really lucky. We have two of the world's biggest rivers. We have the Missouri River and the Mississippi River. So we're super lucky. We have all this fresh water that's available for us to use. But other places in the United States are not so lucky, and that's what we're going to take a little bit closer look at today. All right, and we're going to do that by interpreting these maps you see on the screen right now. And I want to just talk to you a little bit about what each one means before you get started to help you interpret them a little bit. Okay, the first one here is the U.S. Drought Monitor. So this kind of shows where drought is occurring in the United States recently, and I tried to put a really updated one. It was from October 18th, 2016. And if you look closely here, here's the key over here. All right, the darker red that is where more drought is occurring. And a drought is when an area experiences very little or no rainfall. Okay, so right now, Missouri, you can see, is all white. We are not in a drought. We've had plenty of rain this fall, and we're doing okay right now, maybe a little bit just north of St. Louis there. But for the most part, we've been pretty wet. Okay, now you can see that other parts of the country have not been so lucky. If you look over here at California, you'll see that most of California is dark red or red. And that kind of shows that they haven't received a lot of rainfall and they're experiencing a lot of drought. Okay, so that's how you interpret the first map. Let's talk about the other maps here. Go through and take a look at the next one. Okay, this is showing water stress in the United States. And stress is an area where it's really hard to get water. Like people would have a difficult time getting water, okay, is what stress means. So if we look, once again, if an area is red or dark red, that is an area that is having a very difficult time getting water in the United States. Okay, so you'll see like this part of Utah over here in the top corner has a high level of stress. They're having a really hard time getting water. All right, if you look over here at the northeast, you'll see that I believe that's Vermont is all white. Okay, or even Minnesota is really light yellow. Those are areas that there's not a lot of stress. So these are states that aren't having a difficult time getting water. Okay, that's one more. And let's talk about the next map here. Let me help you just interpret this one a little bit. Okay, these are estimated water uses in the United States. So this is what Americans were using water for in 2005. Okay, and you can see these are the labels. These are the things that we were using our fresh water for back then. Okay, so irrigation, that means like mining, that means like watering crops. Okay, aquaculture, I'm not quite sure what aquaculture is. Industrial is like making things, like in factories. Mining is like taking minerals and rocks out of the ground. The public supply, that would be like the water that goes to your houses. And thermoelectric would be water that's being used to create electricity. All right. Let's go on to the next map here. Okay, this is the predicted United States population. This is the graph I want you to interpret. So it shows the year down here at the bottom, and then the U.S. population on the y-axis, and this M that you see right there stands for millions. So let's take a look right here at 1900. So about 116 years ago, okay, so the year 1900. Let's go over, if we go up on the graph there, and then we go over here, it looks like there was about maybe 90 million people in the year 1900. Okay, so anytime that you go up on this map, you can go over and find out how many people there were, and then the map also is predicting into the future how many people scientists think that there will be on Earth in those years as well. Okay, that's how you raise this, or I'm sorry, that's how you interpret this map. All right, and I believe there's one more for us to take a look at here. Okay, this one says extent of state shortages likely over the next decade. So if you look at this map, you can see some of the different places where they're expecting there to be a water shortage in 2013. For example, statewide means all the way across the state, and you can see right here that Montana is expected to have a statewide shortage of water. Regional means like maybe different parts. Like if we're talking regional, we might be talking about the whole part of St. Louis County, not just St. Louis, but all of St. Louis County. Okay, local might just be like a city, and then the real light colors would be known. All right, let's clear that. And I think that was it on interpreting the graphs. Yep. Okay, what I want you to do in your notebook then is for each of the maps, I want you to write down the title of the map. So for example, for the first one, I want you to write down U.S. Drought Monitor, and then I want you to write your answers for the numbers that go underneath of it. Okay, you don't have to use complete sentences. Just make sure you answer all of the questions and interpret the map so that we can draw conclusions. And that is, that's it for the instructions. Oh, and I have Annabelle and Graham Rademeyer here that want to say hi to you.
Hello. Hi.
Those are my kids. They wanted to say hi.